Professor Pole was created by Evolve Dance Studios, Honey's Artistic Pot, and United Pole Artists.
But first we'll just start with a quick warm-up and just follow along. So we'll start by just rolling our shoulders back. Shoulders are really important in poles, so you want to be sure to make sure that they're warm. To protect yourself and keep them strong, keep them loose and limber, and forward. If you feel comfortable, you can do one at a time. Kind of helps loosen up the rib cage too. And we'll take the right arm across, stretch it out, and switch. Make sure to push that shoulder down away from your face, not resting against your cheek. That's always important. And we'll take it behind our head and just try to stand up nice and tall. And switch. And we'll push our hands to the ceiling. You can take your hips forward and rock them side to side. I like this one locked. It feels good. And we'll just take our arms down, trace our legs, try to get our hands on the floor. Try to really straighten out your back. So I'll turn to the side. You can see this. A lot of times people like to hunch, but it's really nice and helpful to arch your back and rotate your tailbone up. Get a deeper stretch that way. You can rock side to side. And try to kiss one knee and the other. Back to center and take it into a deep second sort of position. Make sure you're not sticking your butt too far out. You're going to want to tuck your tailbone under. And take it to one side. So today we're going to focus on just spins. So we're not going to be climbing. If you notice, I'm wearing pants. So if you're feeling just a little lazy, like you don't want to work too hard, this is kind of nice because you can keep your sweatpants on. You don't have to stick. You don't have to put any tack on. Yeah? So if you're feeling a little warm and loose, we can get on the floor and do some fan kicks. This will be really nice and helpful for a lot of different tricks. I use this idea a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in a stag. Okay, and then I'm going to come around, I'm going to lean on one arm. And I'm going to bring the back leg to the front. I'm going to lean onto both arms, open my legs, bend, and then stag. Yeah? And we're going to try it back the other way. One leg, V, bend, stag. Again. One leg, V, bend, stag. Something that's really important is to think of the one hip up, pass through your V, other hip up, into your stag. Try a little faster, kind of get warmed up, and feel the momentum that can kind of be created from this. This looks pretty on the floor just by itself. Yeah, I'm just trying to open up the hips. Good. So you can try as many of those as it takes to get your rhythm. This is really important to get rhythm. It doesn't have to be so fast. You can go slow. As long as you're in rhythm with yourself, it'll work out fine. Yeah, just keep it fluid. So I hope you're feeling a little bit warm from that. If you want to stretch out your hamstrings a little more, you can pull on your pike. And reach all the way up. We'll start to get a little warmer as we start our pole spins. One other stretch I like to do on the pole is standing really close to the pole. One hand at about shoulder height and the other one above the head in a cup grip. And just let yourself hang out to the side. Feel a nice stretch all through here. Just go as far as you feel comfortable, and do the other side as well. That feels good. Okay, so now we're going to start with our beginner version. I'll start with just demonstrating it, and then I'll break it down. So just going into it. Okay, so it's a really passive spin. That's what's good about this. There is no pull-up involved. There is no jumping. Everything just kind of happens in good time. So the first thing we want to do is talk about foot placement. I'm going to start really close to the pole, not way out here. It's going to be difficult. It'll be much easier if you start close. And then your inside hand will go at shoulder level at the highest. Sometimes it even go below the shoulder, almost rib cage, even belly button. And you're going to take the outside hand up and over, reaching as across as you can, really stretch and grab on cup grip. Okay, then we'll take the back leg back, leave it back, keep pivoting on this foot until your foot runs into the pole. At this point, my leg is still behind me. Then I'm going to come and close it in and tilt to the side as I spin. So it's really hard to do this spin successfully if you don't actually let yourself flow. So let's try it together. We'll step inside, outside, inside. Make sure to really plant this. Grab low, grab over the head as you let this leg start to rotate, and tuck your head. Tuck your head, and you want to show this side of the hip. This hip is leading. Yeah, so let's try it a couple more times. Some really important tips is just to think of right when your leg hits, you want to think about lifting the hip up to tilt. Yeah, so this spin doesn't really have a name. So if you think of a cool name, please share it with me. I just call it, I don't know, that spin I do all the time. So let's watch it and see if you can get inspired to give me a name to shout out, yeah? Here we go.
So just so you know, if you have any suggestions for Nadia's spin, you can go ahead and type them to us in the chat room.
I'd appreciate it. I'll probably end up using it. I'm not really creative with names. So let's try the spin one more time. We're gonna step inside, outside, inside. Make sure you bend and plant it. Grab low, arch over, reach over. Keep turning, and tilt. Nice. To come out of it, I usually just keep going, bend the opposite leg, lift this one around, and you can come back to your belly and all the way up to your shins. Yeah? So if you feel pretty comfortable with that, we can move on to the intermediate version. And this one, some really good tips for this one is first just to be able to, if you want, you can kind of put your hands down and lift your legs. Okay, so sometimes this can be a little bit difficult. Think about leaning back a little bit, okay, and try to hold on. So if you can do this position, then you can make this version of the helicopter look really nice. And just think about what this position really is. You can even hold on to the pole while you do this. Makes it a lot easier. And you want to imagine that this is the position you're going to be in while spinning. Your hips will be the lowest part, your body will be mostly upright, and your legs will be high. And we're going to use the same approach as we did with the original spin, with the top hand being cupped. This kind of helps spin a little faster, and I like that. I think spinning faster makes it look better, and it's also easier because you have some momentum lift. Yeah, so you feel a little bit lighter when you spin a little faster. And it just looks better. Yeah, catch some wind. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk around the same way. Also keeping it really low. We don't wanna start up here, because then we have to pick ourselves all the way up, and then we have all this pull before we get to the ground. We don't need that much. Yeah, so let's just start at our shoulder at the very highest. Walk, right, left, right. You want to plant this one again and take this hand over the top this way on this cup grip. Okay, you don't want to walk around the pole like this and wait for it. You want to step, and when you're ready to go, then grab on. And we're going to bring the beginning of our other spin. Remember with this rotated hip, we're going to use that idea and then switch it to our V. So you have a little scissor, looks nice. Gives it a little extra flair. So inside, outside, inside, and V. You want to land on your butt or on your back. Okay, don't try to land on your feet. It'll just be harder and not as good looking. Okay? So, one more time. Some things that can help you is walking. It's really difficult to just step and go into the spin. So when you walk, feel like you're already pulling away from the pole. Don't walk too close. You can't get much momentum that way. So you want to pull in. I kind of use my entire forearm as I'm leaning away. So you can imagine that too. Really throw the first leg. And the faster you go, whoosh, then the faster you're going to spin. So the strength and the momentum really comes from the leg switch. Okay, so we'll start right, left, right, and whoop. And that's the one version of a helicopter that I really like.
So you're basically doing a scissor kick, right?
Scissor kick, yes.
Before we go into the spin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the intermediate version, and we don't have time.
It is 6:13 p.m.
Okay. So maybe you can.
How would you get out of that basic spin, and what are we calling that one?
Okay, so I call this a version of a helicopter because most helicopters have a full inversion. This one's more of a V, so it's like a V helicopter. And what I like to do is I like to do a little twirl up. So you can keep the momentum going by going right, left, right, and V. I land on one butt cheek, bend, use this leg to keep it straight and lift myself up and keep twirling until I can tuck my toes under myself. So I'll show that in kind of real time too. You can use the momentum to keep you. So when you get into your V really low to the ground, you kind of want to turn your V and tilt it so that you land on the inside thigh. So we'll try it again, right, left, and go. And land on one butt cheek, good. There we go. So you want to try to land here, where you have one leg all the way on the ground, you're still holding on. You're going to bring this toe very close to the pole. Keep tilting and wrapping around. This way, you can bring this hand high, and you pick yourself up. From this position, you want to spin your leg around, push, and bring your toes under you to bring yourself up.
So it's important for your top hand to be high on the twirl up.
Yes, so there is a hand switch. So